During the 1980s, there was a commercial selling Sunskip canned tuna. This tuna was regular canned tuna, but that wasn't where the mystery lay. The mystery lay with a single person who appeared in that commercial. The commercial featured 3 children and a woman. The children happily sang the Sunskip song, and yet the woman, presumably their mother, never once showed her face. Before the commercial cut to her face, it would stop and freeze on the frame before it, or cut her out entirely so the balance of the framing was off. Rumour had it that the woman was involved in a terrible accident, and so they were unable to show her face on TV. Japanese commercials have been a popular subject for urban legends over the years, particularly older commercials from the 1980s, due to how hard they are to find now. Sometimes only the rumours have made it to the present day, while the commercial itself has been lost, while in other cases, people have spent years and even decades tracking these lost commercials down. According to the rumours surrounding this commercial, an older woman, presumably the mother of the 3 children featured in the ad, was subject to a terrible accident that meant that they could no longer show her face. The most persistent rumours suggested that the woman actually died after filming, and so the producers were forced to hastily cut her from the commercial before it went to the air, resulting in the strange and off-putting editing. But where did the truth really lie? Unlike many lost commercials over the years, this one was quickly found. It does exist, and it's easy to watch a copy on YouTube or other websites today. It begins with 3 children, twin boys and an older sister, who smile at the camera and happily sing the Sunskip commercial song in their living room. They end the dance by holding up cans of tuna and saying, "Sunskip, it's delicious." The scene then cuts to some footage of several tuna cans on a table. Then back to the children. Only this time, we can see the left side of a woman who has been cut from the scene standing next to them. This unbalances the framing, and the woman has clearly been cut off deliberately. "We love it," the children state. This then cuts to the company logo briefly, before moving on to a woman narrating what the tuna goes well with, paired with several tuna dishes on a table. The same woman cut from the earlier scene stands at the top of the frame behind the table, and as the camera looks like it's about to pan up to show her face, it stops on the food and freezes for several seconds while the narration continues. In the background you can hear a soft "ski. I love it." And then the scene cuts to the same tuna cans on the table from earlier, before ending. The strange editing has clearly been done to remove the woman from the commercial, and it appears to have been done quickly, judging by how bad it looks. The framing is off in the first scene in an attempt to cut her out of it, even though she's still somewhat there. And in the second scene, the camera literally freezes on the food, becoming a still image for several seconds, so as not to keep panning up to show the woman's face. There's no denying that the woman was edited out of the commercial. That part of the legend is true and plain for all to see. The real question is, why? Why was this woman edited out of the commercial, and so poorly at that? Did she really die in an accident that sent producers rushing to remove her before airtime, or was it something else entirely? This odd commercial, like many before it, was shared on Knee Channel in 2001 from people who remembered seeing it in the 1980s. More and more people joined in the conversation over the years, adding more and more pieces of information until finally the commercial itself was found and shared. By this point, the legend had grown exponentially, yet nobody was quite sure of the truth behind it. According to reports from those who had seen it live at the time, there were actually 2 versions of the commercial. The first version was a normal one, where the mother appeared without strange editing. Yet, for some reason, this was later edited to remove her entirely. This obviously wasn't very successful, and led to people wondering why it was done so badly. Several non-tragic theories were proposed for the odd ad. Maybe the actor's contract ran out, and they could no longer show her face. Perhaps something happened to the master tape, and this was all they could salvage from it. The commercial itself wasn't a highly professional production in the first place, with several shots blurry and out of focus, so maybe it was just poorly made to begin with. Or perhaps this was all done on purpose to drum up interest in the product. As it turned out, there was a simple reason for why the woman was edited out of the commercial, and it had nothing to do with her dying in an accident, ruined master tapes, or anything to do with contracts. Well, mostly. The Sunskip tuna commercial aired for several years in the mid-1980s. It was broadcast for far longer than intended. The life cycle of most commercials is usually not very long. And the reason it was changed was because the woman playing the mother went on to star in another tuna commercial for a rival company. Normally, this would be a problem. You can't have the same actor selling the same product from two rival companies. Audiences get confused, and there are contracts in place to stop this from happening. However, Sunskip had been running the same commercial for so long that the woman no longer had a contract with them. She was free to film whatever she wanted, and that included commercials for rival companies. Sunskip legally could do nothing about this, and most companies would simply film a newer commercial and move on. For some reason, they didn't, and this resulted in them simply removing the actor from their existing ad instead. You can also watch this rival company's ad, Hote Light Tuna, on various places around the internet, and these two tuna commercials were hardly the only ones the actor ever appeared in. The woman was part of the Oscar talent agency during the 1970s to the 1990s, and appeared in all sorts of commercials over the years, promoting drinks, banks, convenience stores, newspapers, you name it. She was incredibly popular and one of the go-to actors for commercials during that time period. These days, she has quit the industry and works as a jazz singer in Tokyo, although she is often remembered for her many roles in commercials during the pre-internet era. No, she didn't die in an accident, nor was she arrested and forcibly removed from the commercial. In the end, it was a simple case of a company using a commercial for too long, and then realizing their lead actor was now promoting a rival product. Rather than filming a new commercial, they edited her out, poorly, and unknowingly created an urban legend at the same time. All this because they were too cheap to film a new commercial. Perhaps an urban legend or two is really all you need to market your product cheaply and effectively, though. After all, we're still talking about it today, so maybe they were onto something. But what did you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.